I taught for 8 years in Las Vegas and 7 years in the district down there, and I had a good friend who had his own electric program as part of his program. And there are actually several in Las Vegas. It's a huge district, of course. And there's none here. So I thought, oh, why not try one? My mentor happened to have a solid body electric violin, and I borrowed that one, and then I wrote the grant. And the reason I wanted to do it is just because it didn't exist yet. And it's something I have an interest in. I don't know everything about it, but I figured we could learn along with the kids and you know, make an electric group happen here at Axtell Park.
The cello pickup. That's where the quarter-inch goes. And this, you clip to their bridge. That's what picks up the sound.
The benefit was for recruiting, for different ways of performing for audiences, and to allow students the opportunity to have experience with a technology that's pretty much ubiquitous with modern music today. And if you listen to the radio, you're talking about people who have hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment, if not personnel behind them, making this sound happen. And string music is fantastic. It's 400-year-old technology. It still works great, but we have to bring a little bit of modernity to our students. So the pickups were a way to do that. They attach to the instruments, any of the instruments from the basses, cellos, and violins, and allow you to be electrified immediately. And from there, if you run it through a computer effects board, you can do that. You can perform modern music with a modern sound. I mean, certainly you could play any rock and roll song on string instruments that aren't amplified, but once you put the amplification in there, now you have to worry about distortion and sound quality and all those other things that you work with when you're doing electrified music. The other thing that it does for kids is that recruiting part that I mentioned at the beginning. It can be hard to get kids into orchestra. Bands and choirs tend to be really big because bands are shiny, they're big, they're loud, they're really great. And Mr. Rigg is our director here, and I really think he does a fantastic job with band, and it's great. And our choir directors, Mrs. Myers and Mrs. Lavalier, are fantastic directors, and they have a lot of fun in their class. But with orchestra, the numbers tend to be small. And one thing that I hope really attracts kids to it is that, well, you can play an electric instrument here. It's not just the string instrument. And when it comes to performing, now you have this violin that's incredibly powerful, or any of the other string instruments that are electrified. Now they have a huge sound, and it's not just as loud as this wooden box can make it, but now it's that wooden box plus whatever you can pump through the stereo. So that's been really exciting for the kids. It's also kind of scary too, because it's a lot of sound. I mentioned to my elementary students, who are fifth graders now and next year are looking to be sixth graders, and many of the ones that I teach are going right to Axtell Park, just a few are going to different schools. So I can tell them, hey, you're coming to Axtell Park, there's an electric string program. And they go, whoa, electric string program? And they think, whatever they think in their head, whether it's rock star or it's just, electricity is shooting out of their instrument. I don't know what they're thinking, but they get excited about it. The interest here is growing. I have a small core of students that you'll meet later, and they're attracting other people. Today we have a couple of cellists that are coming for the first time, and we've been missing cellos from the very beginning of the school year. But yeah, they're encouraging the kids to come, and we've got that pickup for that new person coming in. So I think it's growing a bit. It's good. Right now it's kind of a pilot program of sorts. So it's just in this specialized group at the moment. In the future I can see it being bigger. But for right now, it's enough to handle with a small group of kids. There's a lot of setup involved between, you've got the wire from the instrument to a preamp box, which helps boost the signal and make it loud. And then you've got a wire from the preamp box to the switcher, the mixing board. From there, you've got your speakers, and so that's not complete. I mean, the whole system altogether takes a little while to set up. And I know more than the kids, but only this much more. So, it can take a while to get going. And when you have a 40-minute orchestra period to teach, rather than this time, which is we get about an hour and 45 minutes together, and that's much better. for doing this kind of thing, because it allows us to have experimentation, allows us to troubleshoot. And in 40 minutes, it's pretty tough to get in. So everything's got to be wired ahead of time if we're gonna be successful in a 40-minute period for the rest of the students. But this orchestra this specialized group is open to everybody. You just audition to come in, and really, just like Bill Gates has said, 90% of success is showing up. So it's getting the kids to come in the door, and then you get to play the electrics. The budget money for orchestra is spent on repairs and replacements and strings, and those pretty much sap the budget. The rest is music, and little things like a rosin or a shoulder rest. I spent my as a brand new teacher, I got a $200 stipend, and I spent all of that money on shoulder rests. Because up to this point, kids have been using foam blocks, and that's, if you're a violinist or a violist, you know that that's not enough. You need a little more stability there. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I spent a lot of my money on some of the basic things that you need for an orchestra to be successful. This kind of project is definitely extra. It's not one of those guaranteed things that you're going to find in a string program. In fact, string programs themselves are not even quite guaranteed. I have a few students that move to other very, very close school districts, to the Sioux Falls School District, and they don't have orchestra programs. And there's either no history there or there's no money. And band and choir, those are much more popular, easier to do. Marching band and football, those go together. Choir is ubiquitous, and absolutely everybody should be singing. But with orchestra, it's a little more rare. So yes, this project couldn't have happened without a grant.
Go ahead, dear, hold it. That's lovely. Everybody join in on that B flat. From the top, a 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Okay, let's do that part again. 1, 2.
And we'll be getting our instruments ready. And I think one of the things about the electric instruments and playing electric is that the mistakes are much louder. The success is loud, and so are the mistakes. So they're going to be a bit self-conscious about it, I think, of course, in front of the camera. But once we get going, I think you'll see the kids having fun and playing music. We just, about 2 weeks ago, started a new packet of music. And so we're working through a few of these tunes. We are trying to arrange some popular music to play for the group, and I've gotten a lot of input from the kids. Lady Gaga is very popular. So trying to arrange that music for our students is what we're really doing now, in addition to some other older music. So some of it's going to make sense on electrics, and some of it's going to be kind of fresh and interesting on electrics. But you're going to see a small group of kids playing music early in the morning, and you can see them wake up and get better and better as the hour goes on. But yeah, that's what we'll see. I feel very fortunate to have gotten the grant for a project like this. I understand that it's a unique moment for a music project like this to get funded. There's quite a movement in this state, I think, particularly towards very, very standard kinds of things, reading, writing, and arithmetic as that goes. And there's nothing wrong with that. Of course, we must have standards in these basic operations of knowing, learning, logic, and so on. But without the balance of music and a music project like this, those other things can fall quite flat. A student needs to be well-rounded, and we've known this since Greek times. And I do want to just send my support back to all of those folks that supported us, to say, keep supporting things like this. Math, of course, science, of course, physical education, of course, everything that goes into the school day, but don't forget music too. Because music is one of those things that uses both sides of the brain. It uses that language and translation part, so as we can decode all those little lines and dots and things on the staff and all of that language. And it uses the other side of our brain, the affective side, the one that senses good and bad and love and hate and all of those emotions and puts them together into something that can make a balanced individual. All of this while working together with completely different children. All of this while playing with other people and working together in an environment that is completely unique. This does not happen anywhere else. Keep supporting that, because without it we lose quite a bit of humanity. You know, we on the back of the board there we have a project that we're starting this month, and it's African American History Month, for the blues. The blues music is an expression of humanity, and without it, spiritual music and any other music that came out of the chapter in our history where slavery was legal, all of that is an expression of humanity. And without it, I can't imagine how people could have survived. And as you look throughout history, you see this great example of music being the only way people get through what they're doing. Art, the only way people get through what the hardships they have. When you think about the clientele of our students here at Axtell Park or any other of our urbanist school situations, you know, all the more you need something like this, like music to back it up. So for all of those teachers out there who are trying to fill in that gap of whatever your kids don't have yet, the grand opportunity is where to go. You know, you find that need, write an innovative project that takes care of that need, and go for it. If you don't get it one year, write again. Keep doing it, and eventually, I know a good idea will get through there, and they'll prove it, and you'll get the money to do it, and your kids will be all the better for it. 1, 2, ready, top. 2, 3. Rest, rest, rest. 1. 2, 3. Rest. 1. We can't appreciate it enough. I mean, when you think about these students going through middle school and then high school and getting out, I make sure they know where it all comes from. One of my most human moments was in college when I got to meet the people who had given me scholarships. And they happened to be parents of a son who passed away early. And one of the reasons that they had made their scholarship was in honor of their son. And so that money meant quite a lot. I mean, not just personally to me, but personally to them. And connecting with them and understanding that was fantastic. And so for our benefactors, for the businesses and for the foundation and all of the organizations that back up this grant process, we'd love to meet you and thank you personally. And if not, I hope this video gets to them too. But I make sure that my students know that, you know, this stuff isn't possible without that kind of extra help. And you know, we live in a time where there seems to be less and less money for education, and the distribution of our community funds are very, very tight. So it's just amazing to have that kind of support from a community and have that keep on going. Because it can be so hard to find that kind of extra support, and that this exists, that the foundations exist as they are and can continue to exist, and have that kind of support is very, very good for us